wish the chair do not make any comment. Very sad commentary on the functioning of the parliament and the way the ruling party is dealing the parliament. So it's not Venkaia Naidu person. It is a question of initiating a debate on the budget in the upper house, and minister not being present here. His whereabouts are not known. Where he has gone, why he has gone, why he just went away from the house. He was here very much.
I take a leave of the house.
Huh?
Not take a leave of the house.
It's really an insult to the house. That is the point I want to make. Sir, please, when the opposition, or for that matter even ruling party members, when they take part in a serious discussion like budget, the minister is expected to be present, understand the seriousness, various implications, and then respond at the end. That is the parliamentary system. But unfortunately, a senior minister of finance, who was instrumental in presenting this budget, he just simply stays away from the house. I would like to know from the chair, just information, whether he has taken the permission of the chair,
yes,
why, and what is the reason.
The Honorable Minister, Mr. Chidambaram, has written a letter to the chairman, and he requested to allow the Minister, Mr. Namo Narayan Meena, to represent and continue the business. The chair also given the permission, therefore we will continue.
Why he not been involved?
Why?
Sir, any reason, valid reason?
Sir?
No,
I'm asking, I don't know, I'm concerned. Because it's such an important day. So if he's unwell, we should not be making an issue. We apologize if we are making an issue, sir.
Please, cooperate with us.
Did he give any valid reason? Sir, did he give any valid reason for to be absent from the house? Any valid reason is there to be absent from the parliament?
The chair
the budget is being
has permitted, kindly. You know
it's not the question of chair, it is a question of the minister's respect to this house. And secondly, I will be satisfied if there is a proper reason given for his absence from the house. When the house is on, when the session is going on, when budget is being discussed, he just simply vanished away from the house.
And he has come in the house.
He was there in the house. He was there.
I asked whether he has sought the permission of the chair. You read out a letter that he has sought the permission. That's all. It's also a matter.
There is no need. There is no need.
Please.
And then simply in the name of procedures, simply in the name of procedure or this thing, you want to lower the dignity of this house and importance of this parliament. I just simply only can sympathize with you. Sir, with a protest, I am telling you, after hearing from the chair that he has been permitted, I am protesting against the permission given to the minister. I have got every right as a member of the opposition, that too belonging to the major opposition party. We protest against this practice. It's against the parliamentary system. I only wish that the minister understands the importance of the house and then be present in the house. Secondly, sir, what are the highlights of the budget?
Honorable Prime Minister has come, please.
We can justify anything. I am not into that. And you can, no, I know that now.
And it has been a convention also.
No convention was there. On budget, no convention.
Ministers state here.
On budget, no convention.
Here, Honorable Prime Minister is here. What more do you want?
I am happy Prime Minister has come. We have got all respect for him. But the question is, the person who is responsible for the budget, finance minister, why he is absent from the house? Nobody is able to tell. Your ministers are not able to tell. And some other ruling party alliance front is trying to defend you. I don't know why. Sir, I know. My friend Shiva, you will face such a situation tomorrow, and then what you will respond, in what way you will respond, we will all see. Please don't try to defend the undefendable acts of the government.
Please,
Chairman, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shiva, you are not proper. You are not.
What are the highlights of the budget? Sir, the number one highlight is, it is very uninspiring and deceptive. Second, all-round disappointment. Every section is equally unhappy. Sir, there is a saying in my party, and we explain our stand towards minorities. We say appeasement of none and justice for all. Now, the finance minister coined a new this thing saying injustice for all and appeasement of none. That seems to be the motto of this government. Every section, be it is farmer, be it is farmer, be it is the youth, be it is the woman, be it is the industry or the businessman, nobody is happy with this budget. We have seen the responses across the country. The third highlight is broken promises and token allocations. Sir, another highlight, deficit everywhere. No solution anywhere. That is another highlight of this budget. Then one more important highlight of this budget is words for the poor and deeds for the rich. You say in Telugu, Pedalaku matalu, Danukulaku motalu. That seems to be one of the highlights of this budget. Sir, take away from the poor and give away to the rich. Seems to be the policy of the budget. I'll come to it. I'm not just saying it for the sake of political criticism. I have got all the figures to back what I'm saying. And no big and bold ideas. Everybody thought because of the so-called crisis, whatever it is, there will be some big ideas and new steps initiated by this government. They are all missing. And then another surprising thing is one government may initiate, the other government after coming to power may change that initiative or may bring in changes. But here in this government, one finance minister proposed something, other finance minister opposed it again. Within the 2 years, same thing happened. The earlier finance minister, what he has said, what he has proposed, and what this finance minister has disposed, I will give you the examples. So, another thing is, the people expected the government through budget to come through some solution to the major challenges faced by the country. They're all missing. Another important highlight of this budget is silent on violent black money. There is not even one word in the entire budget speech of the finance minister about the black money slashed in foreign accounts and black money that is generated within the country and being used for different purposes. So the last one is the devil is there in the details. If you go through the budget, then you will understand. Someone told me, Venkaia ji, it's a harmless budget because no steps are taken. Why are you worried? My point is the country is facing multi-dimensional challenges in every sector. People expected this government to come with some solutions and then boost the economy, raise the confidence of people, increase the value of rupee. This was the expectation. Create balance in the market, create employment, and create confidence among the people. All these things are missing in this budget. So, the budget has failed to address two important issues. One is corruption. There is no mention about it. The second is inflation, which is really breaking the backbone of the ordinary people and also particularly the middle class. Sir, another important aspect is slow growth rate, growing unemployment, agriculture crisis, and presence of black money within the country, slashed abroad. These are the other burning issues. The finance minister, unfortunately, could not address any of these challenges. Sir, there is no, as I told you, there is no mention of fighting corruption in the entire budget speech. Sir, today, the country's economy is slowed down to alarming levels, a decade's low. What is needed is a budget through some glucose to boost the energy. That is also missing. So the last budget has returned the country to pre-reforms growth rate of 5%. Unfortunate. This budget also has the potentiality of carrying forward the same. The other day, Honorable Prime Minister has said, let us not demoralize. I do agree with him. But at the same time, can we be silent on facts? Should we not understand the challenges? Is it not the duty of the opposition to bring it to the notice of the government and ask them the responses to that? That is our duty. We are doing it. We will be very happy if the growth rate increases. We will be happy if infrastructure picks up further momentum. We will be happy if even the foreign investment also, FFIs, if they get more confidence, we will be more than happy. But at the same time, it's all your making, this government's making, that has created this situation. Sir, in every budget speech, our continuously the finance minister saying, they will say they are reducing fiscal deficit, they are taming inflation, and they are controlling prices, and also 8 to 9% growth. This has been talked continuously in the last 9 years of this government tenure. But what is the result? At the end of it, everybody forgets it. And same thing continues. This is what is happening. Sir, in this budget, It is not clear how the fiscal deficit of 4.8% equal to 4 lakh crores will be bridged. There are only two ways. One is print new notes or borrow. The first will increase inflation and the second will lead to insolvency. These are the options you are leaving before the country. Sir, the railway minister criticized his predecessor. That has become a fashion in this government. Each railway minister criticizing his predecessor. Now the finance minister also, he has criticized his predecessor and he said, I'll quote, in the budget for 2012 and 13, the estimate of plan expenditure was too ambitious and the estimate of non-plan expenditure was too conservative. There is no continuity in this government. Same your own finance minister. Now that finance minister is occupying the highest post of the country, I don't want to mention his name and I don't want to drag him into controversy also. But it's a fact. This finance minister in his budget speech, he disagreed with the outgoing finance minister and then made that mention. That shows all is not well within this government. So this another jugglery created by the finance minister is he should have compared his budget estimates with that of previous year's budget estimates. He did not compare his budget estimates with the previous year's budget estimates. He compares his budget estimates with the revised estimates. Sir, then what is the sanctity of the budget? This is nothing but deception. Credibility of the budget system is lost. Sir, the central plan outlay budget estimate for the coming year 2013-14 is 5,55,322 crores. It was earlier 5,21,025 crores for the current year. The revised estimate for the current year is 59,187 crores. If you compare revised estimate, the current year with the budget estimate of next year, it is up to nearly 30%. If you compare the budget estimate the current year with the next financial year, the increase is merely 34,297 crores. That is 6.58%, which is lower than the rate of inflation. This is the point I want to make. The so-called increase you have made is lower than the rate of inflation. It is coming to only 6.58%. How do you explain this? This is the same story with regard to education, with regard to health, and also about other sectors also. In most cases, the increases in terms of budget estimates barely covers the inflation or sometimes even less. If you give an increase of 6%, 7%, if there is an inflation of 7% or 10%, then what is the growth you are going to achieve? This is what I want to highlight. Sir, the gloomy situation is the making of the UPA only. Economic survey confirmed the challenges. They include huge deficit, both fiscal, revenue. Earlier, our Honorable Prime Minister and Finance Minister were assuring us, quote, India will not be affected by the slowdown and our fundamentals are strong, unquote. You yourself said, we are not affected, we are not going to be affected by international, whatever happening in the international area. The Finance Minister, during a Hindustan Times conclave, he said, quote, India well insulated from the US financial crisis, no cause for alarm. Then what went wrong? He should explain. He is not there to explain, but he should explain. I am speaking for the sake of the country because the Finance Minister is not there. Admitting that there has been a slowdown, the PM said that in another 2-3 years' time, the economy will return to robust growth of 7 to 8%. I hope it happens. But sir, you have been in power for last 9 years. Now you are saying 2-3 more years. That means what is going to happen? And then you are going to be out within 1 year. Sir, there has been some domestic factors. It is strange to hear him advise not to dampen the spirit of our people. Who has dampened the spirit? This is the question I want to ask the government. Sir, after completely denying many times about slowdown, the government now is using global slowdown as an alibi to cover up the failures of this government. Sir, even the International Monetary Fund said India's problems are mostly domestic and largely of its own making. This is not my quotation. It is the International Monetary Fund saying it. Sir, earlier the UPA blamed the left. Now the left has left. Then what are the right things you have done to set right the situation? I would like to know. For 5 years you have been blaming the left. And they have left. And now, what are the right things you have done to set right the situation? This is the question. 4 years are over. You are not able to do anything. Sir, your economic survey starts with the following sentence. While India's recent slowdown is partly rooted in external causes, domestic causes are also important. This is your own economic survey saying. Sir, mismanagement of economy and policy paralysis have led to the present situation. Even a I am happy Honorable Prime Minister is here, even a soft-spoken and noted industrialist, Shri Kumaramangalam Birla, openly complained of the country's inconsistency and lack of transparency in business policies. He said, quote, "We are in 36 countries around the world. We haven't seen such uncertainty and lack of transparency in policy anywhere," unquote. He is a noted businessman. I am talking from the angle of the businessmen. They are also equal partners in the growth story of this country. I am not among those people who criticize business, who criticize industry, we condemn them and later go to them. That's a different matter. But my point is, sir, this is the agony felt by many industries. And this man never speaks. He do not criticize others also. He has spoken out of agony. I just wanted to bring it to the notice of the government. Sir, let me point out that even in the face of adverse external environment, 48 countries grew faster than India. 48 countries. In the year 2012, 27 countries grew faster than 7%, 10 grew faster than 9%. If those countries can grow faster than 9%, grew faster than 7%, what prevented India to march forward? That is the question. Nobody is able to understand this. All that is required is prudent economic management, good governance, and revival of domestic policies. Sir, may I remind you that the growth target for the present year was 7.6%, but achievement is only 5%. Even you could not reach your own mid-year review target of 5.7 to 5.9%. In the current year, the CSO estimates the growth at 5%, while the RBI is saying it's at 5.5%. Going by your own governance and performance records, it's hard to achieve the projected growth rate of 6.1 to 6.7% next fiscal. That is the worry. Morgan Stanley and HSBC downgrade India's growth rate to 6% for 13-14. It is their assessment. Earlier, their estimate was 6.2%. Now, they said it will be only 6%. So, there is no clear roadmap to reach this 9% or 8% growth rate. Even the Planning Commission says it is not easy to achieve 8% in 12th plan. Planning Commission. This is not my charge. Sir, this was disclosed in a covering paper by Planning Commission. Unless you go aggressively for investment, human resources and manufacturing sector, you will not be able to reach the even 8% of the 12th plan. This is the worry, and I don't know how the government is going to tackle this situation. Sir, now I come to the point. In 2004, when we left the office, you came to power. At that time, the economy was growing at 8.1%, 8.4%. The fastest in 14 years. Fastest in 14 years during our regime, last year of our regime. In 2012 and 13, the rate fell to 5%. From 8.1, 8.4, you brought it down to 5%. You assumed office in 2004. Economic survey of 2004, sir, I quote, "The economy appears to be in resilient mode in terms of growth, inflation and balance of payments, a combination that offers large scope for consolidation of the growth momentum with continued macroeconomic stability." It further says, "The economy has enjoyed the benefits of relatively low inflation with comfortable stocks of food grains, enhanced competition in the market, and an appropriate mix of fiscal and monetary policies." It further said, "The double-digit annual average inflation rate of 10% between 91 to 92 and 95 to 96 has come down to 4.2% in 2001, 2004, last 3 years of NDA rule. This is what the economic survey under your own government, first year of your government, have stated. Sir, Finance Minister Shri Honorable Shri Chidambaram ji, while presenting his first UPA budget in 2004, himself accepted, quote, "Economic fundamentals appear strong and balance of payment is robust." From robust, now you are brought to the roast. From robust, these are the words, not of mine. These are the words of Shri Chidambaram. He is an expert in English. He knows what he says. Sir, who brought the nation's economy to such a pass? This is what I want to ask. And I know that you have no answer. Sir, the NDA started with 4% growth, reached 8.1 to 8.4%. You started with 8.3 or 8%, and now you brought down to 5%. This is our achievement through all your budgets. Sir, good policy decisions in year 2000 by NDA was responsible for the higher growth rate. I would like to stress one more thing. Even the initial higher growth rate under UPA was because of the good foundations laid by Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee and his government. You enjoyed those fruits during the first 3-4 years. Subsequently, you have ruined it. Now that is the situation prevailing before the country. Sir, firm foundations were laid down by BJP-led NDA government. First of its kind, well-executed Golden Quadrilateral project, and also powering the Electricity Act. We have taken so many important decisions during our period. Shri Manmohan Singh ji has initiated reforms, but the reforms were really implemented by Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee-led NDA government, which has become a turning point in India's history. Your government today, you are not able to take any initiative. Secondly, sir, I would like to know another important thing is inflation. The UP has given the Aam Aadmi the biggest gift of inflation, rising prices. It was targeted to be around 6.5%, but it remained above 7% for most part of the year. Food inflation went up to 10.79% in January and remained above 10% for the month of last month, sir. As per record, it is 10.91% against 8.3% of the previous year. 10.91%. So this budget yet again failed to bring back the smile on the face of the Indian homemakers. Today it is becoming almost impossible for a housewife to run the house. Prices of everything are skyrocketing. Electricity, water, gas, diesel, petrol, pulses, wheat, sugar, rice, everything is going up only. This is the biggest achievement you have made, making the life of the common people miserable. You have reduced the limit for LPG cylinders. It was available on demand to everybody. What happened to you? You brought it down to 6. The Prime Minister has gone on record.